Begin with the analysis. Okay. So the first thing that is on the news is that towards a less poor and more equal country. Now, what does this mean? So this topic becomes relevant with GS paper 3, and GS paper 3 there is a topic which is known as inclusive growth. Now, they say that towards a less poor and more equal country. So, now what is the whole context all about? So, in March, World Inequality Lab, a global research center focused on inequality and public policy, published a working paper titled Income and Wealth Inequality in India 1922 to 2023. Now, the rise in the billionaire Raj, the author Nitin Kumar Bharti, Lucas Chancellor, Thomas Pygmy, and Mole, etc., combined a whole data. Now, what they are saying that is income and wealth inequality. Now, what is the whole context all about? So, what happened is that in March there was this World Inequality Lab. Now, this World Inequality Lab is nothing but a global research center. A global research center. Now, they published a working paper titled what? The title of the paper is Income and Wealth Inequality in India. And the time period is from 1922 to 2023. Fine. Now, here also the rise in billionaire Raj. Now, what is the article altogether highlighting? Now, the article is highlighting what the relation between the overall human development in the country. Fine. Okay. So, what is inclusive growth all about? Now, what do you understand by inclusive growth? So, according to UNDP, that is United Nations Development Program, they say that inclusive growth is the process and outcome where all groups, where all groups of people have participated in growth. So, when the participation of the people is towards the growth, and at the same time, what you see is that each one of them are benefited as well. So, all those who are participating in the growth shall also get benefited. Fine. Now, we shall discuss what the article, have said, or what the authors have said, what the article is talking all about. So, if you read the article, you'll find that the report has stated that in 2022 to 23, there were close to 22% of Indian national income that went to just you say how much that just went to the top 1% of the country. That means the top 0.1% of the population. That means top 1 or 0.1% of the population of the Indian country has actually earned nearly 10% of the national income of India. Fine. Now, in terms of wealth inequality, what is there? So, wealth inequality states that the share of top 1% in wealth was close to 40% in 2022 to 23. Fine. So what you see is that 0.1% of the population holds 10% of national income of India. Now, when it's said about wealth inequality, you find that 1% of the people in the ladder, they hold close to 40% of the wealth in 2022 to 2023. Now you can see the number. That means 1% holding 40%. That means nearly 99% are holding the 60% of the wealth. Let me see the number. So how rich those 1% people are. So there's a lot of wealth inequality. Now the next thing that is coming here is, now, the next thing or the report that has stated is that India's wealth inequality is not as extreme as Brazil and South Africa, where 10% holds approximately 80 to 85% of national wealth. So what is happening is 10% of the people are holding 80 to 85% of national wealth, and this is the condition of where this condition is of Brazil and South Africa. However, India's income inequality is highest in the world. That means India has the highest income inequality in the world. Okay. Now we have heard about or we have just seen the article. We have just seen the facts and the figures. Now the point is that we need to work towards bringing more equality, because that what the purpose should be. Then we have talked about inclusive growth. That means there should be contribution by all towards the growth, and whatever wealth is achieved shall also be equitable distributed among the people. Now when we talk about equitable distribution of the wealth among the people, the point is that how we can achieve this, or how is that even possible. So the possible or the reason for balanced and for lack of what should I say, that means the reason for the lack of inclusive growth in the country, what could be the reason. So we need to find out why India is having this severe income inequality in the world. That means it is not something which can be neglected, because India is India is having the world's highest income inequality in the world. So what are those reasons? So first you see there's a lot of discrimination in the country. Now what is that discrimination? So according to World Inequality Report 2022, this report states that men earn 82% of labor income in India. So men earn 82% of labor income in India, and women, they earn 18%. So if you see the number, men's are earning 82% and women's are earning 18%. Now if you go with this is the case of discrimination, right? Now if you go with the regional growth, what you find is that there are certain undeveloped regions, like or you can say underdeveloped region. That means the areas near Karnataka, then the areas of UP, the areas of Bihar, you have areas of Chhattisgarh, etc. So what you find is that the geographical locations or the geographical condition also hampers regional growth. Fine. Other than that, what is happening is, according to NSSO report, around 40 to 60% of food grains do not reach to beneficiaries. Now, see, India has always been a country which was dependent on agriculture. So, even today, more than 50% of the population is still dependent on agriculture and they are practicing agriculture. Now, the point is that when you are practicing agriculture, and according to the NSSO report, that means 40 to 60% of the food grains do not reach the beneficiary. Now, every time when I'm taking the articles with respect to agriculture, I've been saying this: when in a country where more than 50% of the population is still dependent on agriculture, how come that country is, having poverty, or you can say that people are not able to afford 2 meals a day? So, what is the, where is this whole issue lying? So, the report says that 40 to 60% of the food grains do not reach beneficiaries. And why they do not reach beneficiaries? Due to black marketing. Fine. Now, if you see, how the Indian economy is operating, what you will find is that there is overburdening over the sector of agriculture. Now, overburdening over the sector of the agriculture, that means I have just told you that there is like 50% of the population still dependent on agriculture, and there's a report by NSSO. And what is the report talking about? So, they say that the average monthly income of agricultural household is around rupees 6,500, and the expenditure, that means the average monthly expenditure, is around rupees 6250. Now you see the number. According to the NSSO report, what they are saying is that the average monthly income of agriculture household is 6,500, whereas the average monthly expenditure is 6250. So if you see both the numbers, you will find that this sector of agriculture is overburdened. Fine. Other than that, there has been a report which is coming about distribution of income. Distribution of income. And this report says that 1% of wealthiest in India have increased their share from 40% to 60% in a time gap of 5 years. That means 1% of the wealthiest or the richest class in India. Okay, so has increased their wealth from 40% to 60% in the last 5 years. Fine.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
Uh, Okay, so this is the share of the wealthiest people. Now, further moving ahead, the point is that what are the efforts that we have been making in order to have changes or bring out a more equitable society. So, government of India has came with the scheme of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojna.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
आ गया आ गया. Okay, so government of India has tried Manrega program so as to bring rural employment. Then we have National Health Mission. We have Ayushman Bharat Yojna. Then we have Swachh Bharat Mission, etc. So all these missions were towards providing more of just and equitable society. There should be more of wealth, equal wealth distribution. Fine. Now, apart from what government of India has, made effort towards this, the next thing is that they have been working towards education and skill development as well. How? See, we have got national education policy there. They have also thought about providing vocational training. They have also thought about providing what? Skill development programs. And these skill development programs specially offer it towards the rural communities, which includes your women and children. Fine. Other than that, we also have financial inclusion program. Now, what is financial inclusion program? So, In financial inclusion, what they do is they promote banking services. They also, bring out initiatives of microfinance and community banking. Fine. Other than that, we have also what empowerment of marginalized group. Now, what is empowerment of marginalized group? Now, government of India has also provided reservation to EWS people, SC, ST, OBC. Then we have got various empowerment scheme for marginalized group that is for example we have Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao scheme, etc. So as to bring more opportunities with respect to employment and education. Education and employment for governments. Fine. Other than that, we have CSR, that is corporate social responsibility, so that we can have private sector engaged actively. So that we have private sector engaged actively in community development. Fine. So this was something with respect to that how we are trying to make a more equal country, and this is only possible, bringing more equal country, or bringing more equality towards, or more equality in the country, only if we are taking the lower section of the society. We are also thinking about it at the same time. The entire article is talking about inclusive growth. That means we have find it out that where the inequality is lying, where the issues are lying, and how we have been working towards more just and equitable society. Fine. Okay, let's move on to the next article. Okay, now the next article is talking about what? Toss out the junk food, bring back the healthy food plate. So toss out the junk food, bring back the healthy plate. Just a minute. Okay, India, like in many other countries, undergoing major nutrition transition. In what characteristic rapidly changing dietary pattern, there is a significant shift away from traditional diets, which were high in fiber, comprised morely whole foods, to more Western style diets which are processed and high in calories. So, what the article is talking about and what the authors are speaking is that now there is a change in the food habits, and what is that? The food habits have been changing from traditional to Western. Now, traditional to Western, that means now people are consuming Western diets more as compared to the traditional foods which comprised of more of fiber. So the article is talking entirely about bringing back the healthy food plate. Fine. Okay, so let's talk about what the article or what the authors have been saying. Just a minute. Okay. So if you see, the context is all about India is undergoing what? A major nutrition transition. So there is a shift of major nutrition transition. This major nutrition transition is characterized by what? Changing dietary patterns. Changing dietary patterns. Now, what it is all about? So, what we have seen is that there is a significant shift, and that significant shift is with respect to what? That the traditional diets have been shifted, and there is more inclination towards Western style diets. Now, what is that? See, the traditional diets are shifted, or you can say people are preferring Western style diets more because of you can say they are highly processed, and when we are shifting towards Western style diets, they are very high in calories as well. Now the author is saying that we need to come back to healthy food plate. So the traditional diets comprised of diets which were more in fiber. Fine. Now the point is that what is the diet that you consider to be a balanced diet? That means what leads to change in dietary habits, and probably what be the food plate be like, so that you can say it's a balanced plate. So a balanced plate basically comprises of your fruits, vegetables, you have grains, you have dietary products, or you can say dairy products. Then you have fish, nuts, egg, etc. Then you have fats and sugars. Now, the point is that what are the factors that are leading to change in dietary habits? So, the change in dietary habit coincided with what? See, now as we are developing, so there is more migration from the rural area to the urban area. Now, when there is more migration from rural area to urban area, you can say that there is increase in urbanization. Increase in urbanization, people are preferring more of packaged food, packaged and processed food. Packaged and processed food. Now, this packaged and processed food are your junk foods. Now, apart from urbanization, what are the other factors that are contributing towards this change in traditional to Western food habits? So it is, there is aggressive advertisement. Now, this advertisement is leading to what? That means the advertisement is highlighting that how tasty and how affordable your packaged and processed foods are. Fine. Now, if we go with the stats and the numbers also say that the processed food industry in India has expanded with a growth rate of 13%. That means it has been growing. What has been growing? That means the processed food industry. The processed food industry has been growing or has seen a growth by 13% between the period of 2011 to 2021. Fine. Now, other than that, what we have also witnessed is that according to a survey, what we found was, according to the survey, just a moment, yeah, huh? Oh, okay, so according to, fine. Now, according to the survey that was conducted, we found that the processed food industry has witnessed a 13% growth from the period of 2011 to 2021, and this is predicted to be how much worth dollar 535 billion. Fine. Other than that, we have also found what that other than we have also found what that 93% children's 93% children consume packaged and processed food, and at least 53% out of 93% ate these processed food at least once a day. Fine. Okay. Now, when we have seen that the packaged food industry is more in rise, when we have seen that this has also been leading to what rise in the processed food culture. The point is that what is so unacceptable about processed food or junk food industry, that the authors are saying that we need to shift towards healthy food plates. So let's see what is the issue behind the issue behind the Western food habits or the processed food habits. So what we have seen is, or what the issue is, that this processed food comprises or are or have high fats, high salt, and high sugar. So this is HFSS foods. And what is that? That means the processed food is high in fats, high in salt, and high in sugar. Fine. Other than that, the high fat content, the high salt content, the high sugar content means that the food is somewhat low in nutritional aspect. And what is the nutritional aspect? That means it is either having a low, or you can say no vitamins, no minerals, and in alternative to that, it is having high fat, high salt, high sugar. Fine. Other than, what you can say is that which are those food that are high in these fat, salt, and sugar. So if you see, you have noodles, you have canned fruits, then you have bakery products. So these products lack in the nutritional aspect. And you also know that how much children are prone to these foods. So that is the reason why you find that there are multiple diseases that occur and which weakens the body's defense, like you will witness people with high blood pressure. They will also have high blood sugar. In some cases they will witness obesity. Fine. Other than that, now these processed food have also become one of the reasons of cancer. Fine. So what India is experiencing is that there is a shift in lifestyle which has led to unhealthy diets, and this has led to metabolic disorder. Fine. So according to the reports of ICMR, that is Indian Council of Medical Research, it has given high prevalence to metabolic disorders in India. Why? Because 11% of the population is suffering from diabetes. 30% of the population is suffering from hypertension, and 40% suffering from abdominal obesity. Fine. Okay. Now we have seen all the ill effects of these processed food. We have seen what is the or what chunk of the population is consuming these junk food. What effect this junk food is having over the youth of the today, the children, and as well as the elderly, how this junk food has affected the health of the country. Now the point is that if we know all this, then what is the government of India doing, or you can say the body of the law body is doing. So what we have found is that as per FSSAI, as per FSSAI, they have released the food safety and standard regulation 2020. So FSSAI has released food safety and standard regulations 2020, and under this they have restricted the sale of high fat, high sugar, high salt sale of this in school canteens, mess, and premises that is within 50 meters of school campus. Fine. Okay, so there is also a National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. So National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, yani NCPCR. Now, what has they done, or what have they done? They have issued notice to health drink companies for what? To evaluate and So, National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, they have issued a notice to who? To the health drink companies to let go or to withdraw all the misleading advertisements and also packaging and labels that banned of the product as a health drink. So removing the name as health drink. Why? Because these health drink, what they say are good for health, or you can say health drinks. They comprise of high fats, high sugar, high sugar, high salt content in them. Fine. Okay, so this is what the article was all about. That means tossing out the junk food and bringing back the healthy food plate. Fine. Okay, now let's move on to the next article. Now, the next article is talking about reversing the global democratic recession. So, global democratic recession. Now, what is the article all about? So, the article talks about a Pew Research Center's survey. Now, this research center survey has highlighted what? That there has been a declining trend in democracy. And when we say democracy, that means there are multiple things. For example, you have freedom of speech, you have liberty, you have right to freedom, you have equality, etc. So that is what democracy is. That means there is a rule by the people, of the people, and for the people. So a democracy is one where it is the rule by the people, for the people, of the people. So this is what democracy is, and where we fail to have where there is no dictatorship rule. So it is saying that global democratic recession has been witnessed. Now, what you need to know is that firstly, there are types of democracy. So, what are those types of democracy? First, we'll do the types of democracy. Then we will talk about what are the levels of democracy, etc. So, let's talk about types of democracy. What are types of democracy? So first is your electoral democracy. What is electoral democracy? Where there are free and fair elections. Then you have liberal democracy. That means this one is your electoral democracy. Then you have liberal democracy. Liberal democracy, what is happening is rule of law, checks and balance, and civil liberties. Then you have deliberative democracy. Now, what is deliberative democracy? That means the decisions that are made to the best interest of people. Then you have egalitarian democracy. So, egalitarian democracy is what? This is access to resources, power, and freedom. So, equal access to resource, power, freedom. Fine. Okay. Now, what is the article talking about? Why, the author is saying that there is reversing the global democratic recession. That means, if you read the article, you'll find what that a Pew Research Center's global survey reveals evolving state of democracies across 24 countries that were conducted. Now, the result highlights a global shift underway, signaling what a discernible erosion of trust in democratic system. Here, 77% of respondents, just a minute, expressed, so 77% of respondents expressed optimism about representative democracy. So, representative democracy, that means people are the one who are choosing the leaders, but the receptivity to the alternative governance model is worrisome. Now, what it is all about? So, if you read the entire article, you will find that the author is talking about what, or the author is giving the reference to Pew Research Center's global survey. Pew Research Center's global survey. Now they say what, that 70% endorsement of direct democracy. Now, what is endorsement of direct democracy? It means the officials are directly influencing major decisions. So the officials are influencing majority decisions, not allowing the elected leaders to know about it. Also, the research says that there is more inclination towards rule by experts. There is more inclination towards rule by experts. That is, there is more inclination towards rule by experts, where the number is 58%. And there is more acceptance of authoritarian governments. Fine. Okay, now let's talk about what is the condition of democracy in India. Now, what is the case of India? So, in 2017, what we found was that 44% of Indians favored representative democracy. 44% of Indians favored representative democracy, which declined. And now what is happening is that in 2023 we are having close to 36 people, or sorry, 36% of the people who favor representative democracy. But next is that there has been a positive response from Indians towards military rule. That means Indians have responded positively towards military rule or governance by an authoritarian leader. Just a minute. So, military rule, or you can say leaders favoring authoritarian leaders, people favoring governance by authoritarian. Now, what we have seen is that freedom of expression has witnessed a decline, freedom of expression has witnessed a decline, and this decline is from 35 countries, now it is close to only 7 countries. Then we have also seen autocratization rising, that is autocratizing. Just a minute. And all this research is coming from your PU research. So you can study about here that there has been a shift that has been seen, that now the countries are shifting towards autocratizing. And how many countries have shifted towards autocratizing? It is 42 countries. Fine. Okay. Now let's move on to the next article. Government should act on FMCG firms using misleading ads, Supreme Court says. Just now we have done the article of tossing out the junk foods and bringing more of healthy food. Okay. So government, okay, Supreme Court has ruled out order that government should act on FMCG firms using misleading ads. Now, when I talked about the tossing out junk foods and bringing more of healthy foods, there I said that what the notice should be given, or the notice have been given by National Commission of Protection of Child Rights, that the health drinks should be, or should go away with the misleading advertisements. Now again, here you see that Supreme Court has ordered the similar thing. So now what is happening is that the Union Consumer Affairs Ministry has asked FSSAI to investigate allegations against the leading FMCG. And what is that? This allows, or this follows with what recent claims that Nestle's baby product in India, that is Nestle's baby product in India, as well as those in Africa. So Nestle's baby product in India, Africa, and Latin America contains what? Excessive sugar levels. Fine. So what is happening is that the products that are coming from Nestle, and especially the baby product, now I've just told you that National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, that commission has also talked about misleading advertisements that are coming from the health drink FMCG, and similarly Supreme Court is also saying that the products, that means the baby products that Nestle is manufacturing at India, Africa, and Latin America, they are considerably having higher sugar levels. So what is altogether the say? So first you should know what FMCG is. So FMCG are products that sell quickly at relatively low cost, and these goods are also called as consumer packaged food or goods. So FMCG are products that sell quickly at relatively low cost, and these goods are also called consumer packaged goods. Now they have a very short because of high consumer demand. Fine. Now there are several type of FMCGs. You have cheese products, you have health drinks, you have frozen foods, then you have products that are baked products. so bakery products. Then you have hair care products, you have cosmetic products. That means this was Nestle's baby food. So other than that, you have cosmetic products. Then you have medicines also coming from FMCGs, etc. Fine. Then you should know about what is FSAI. So it is basically a statutory body. Now this statutory body is established under Food Safety and Standards 2006. Fine. The ministry that is operating the same is Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So this Ministry of Health and Family Affairs is associated with FSSAI. Now, what is the objective of having this body? So this body is there for a purpose, or it is a single reference. It's a single reference to all matters leading to food safety and standards. Fine. Okay, now let's move on to the next article. Now, the next article says what? Uh, an overview of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojna scheme. Now, if you see what is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojna scheme altogether, so this Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojna scheme was launched back in 2015. The nodal ministry associated with Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojna is your Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. The objective of having this ministry is to provide what Pakka house to all eligible beneficiaries. To all eligible beneficiaries in the country. Now the point is, how do you know who all are eligible beneficiaries? So they basically represent the people who are coming from EWS, lower income groups or low income groups, then middle income groups, MIG. So you have three people or three groups of people, that is EWS, lower income groups or low income groups, then you have middle income groups. Fine. And also the people who are slum dwellers. Fine. Okay. Now, if you do the detailing of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, you will find that this scheme has been divided into four verticals. First is your in situ slum redevelopment. So in situ slum redevelopment. Now, what is in situ slum redevelopment? So in this, what is going to happen is for slum in for those lands where there is slums, especially in states and cities, there will be additional financial assistance that will be provided. Then we have credit linked subsidy scheme. That means what is going to happen? There will be house loans that will be provided at subsidized interest rate. Subsidized interest rates. Fine. Now the third is affordable housing partnership. So third one is affordable housing partnership. So what is affordable housing partnership? So an affordable housing project is what? An affordable housing project can be a mix of houses for different categories but are eligible for central assistance. That means at least 35% of houses are of EWS category. Fine. So, okay, this one was the third one. Now, let's see what is the fourth one. Now, fourth one is providing beneficiary-led individual house construction and enhancement. So, what is going to happen here is that central assistance up to rupees 1 lakh per EWS house is provided. That means the central government will be providing 1.5 lakh per EWS house provided to eligible families belonging to or belonging from EWS categories for individual house construction. Right? Okay. Now let's move on to the next article. Now the next article says that Supreme Court grants center a week's time to look into Karnataka's plea for drought relief. Now, what has happened is that you should firstly know what is a drought. Now, what is a drought? So, a drought is a condition where you will see what it is a sporadic feature of climate that is known to occur in variability. So, what is happening is that there is a kind of well defined dry season. A well defined a well defined dry season. Fine. Okay. Now droughts also occur of various types. So we'll do the types of droughts. Now what are types of drought? Now the types of droughts are first is your meteorological drought. Now meteorological drought is absence or deficit of rainfall from the normal. Fine, so that is a meteorological drought. Next is your one is your meteorological drought. Then you have hydrological drought. So, what is hydrological drought? So, in this hydrological drought, you will witness what? That there is reduction of natural stream flow. So, reduction of natural stream flow. And third one is your agricultural drought. Now, agricultural drought occurs when moisture level in the soil is insufficient. Moisture level in soil is insufficient to maintain what average crop yield. Fine. Okay. Now the point is that if India is witnessing drought, then what is the reason behind it? That means what is leading to the occurrence of drought every now and then. So, what is the reason behind occurrence of droughts every now and then? So you see that there is a very low average annual rainfall, that is of 75 centimeter for over 33% of crop area. Then you see you have limited irrigation coverage. So limited irrigation coverage. Then you have very less, you can say, considerable annual, seasonal, or regional variations, despite you are having high average rainfall. So you can say less variation with respect to your seasons and regions, even though you are having high annual rainfall. Fine. Then you have 73% of annual rainfall concentrated in less than 100 days during southwest monsoon. So you have low average rainfall, you have limited irrigation coverage, you have less variation with respect to season region even though you are having high annual rainfall. Then you have 73% of annual rainfall concentration in 100 days during the southwest monsoon. Other than that, there is over exploitation of groundwater. Over exploitation of groundwater. Fine. Okay, so these are the reasons why India faces drought, and probably India should work towards meeting the challenges. Why? Because if we see this variation happening, we might fall short of groundwater. We might also see alter in the seasonal variation. and this shall affect the agriculture system of our country and also the climatic pattern of our country. Fine. Okay, now let's move on to the next article. Okay, the next article talks about political space for disability rights, a silver hope. Now, what is this all about? So, if you see, the topic becomes important with respect to persons with disability, and so you can also say that somewhere or other it is related to your social empowerment. So, what is happening is that election manifestos, that is, which come out when the elections are going to happen. So the election manifestos have frequently, like most of the time, they have neglected the rights of person with disability. So what we have found is that the election manifestos most of the time are not considering people with disabilities. So what you find is that there are certain parties who have more often now and then have pledged for what to recognize disability as a basis of discrimination under the constitution. So what happened is that these kind of things gave new hope. Now currently what is happening is that the constitution, that means the constitution of India, only specifies what discrimination, discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth. So if you read the fundamental rights of us in the Constitution of India, so there we have seen that the Constitution has clearly stated that there shall be no discrimination based on religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth. But they have kind of never included what, disability. Okay, so disability becomes important. Now the point is that if we are talking about disability, we should also define disability. So then there is an act which is right of persons with disabilities act 2016. Now, this act has defined disability, so or it has defined person with disability. So they have said that a person with disability means. So this article or this act says that a person with disability, means a person with long term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairment. So this is leading to what? This kind of hinders the participation of the people in the society. Which people, or the person which is under disability. So person with disability having long-term physical, mental, intellectual, sensory impairment, they are not able to participate in society, are not able to participate in society equally with others. So these are the people, or you can say this is the person who possesses disability. Fine. Now, When we talk about disability, we should also know that what are the challenges these people face. That means if we are talking about them, if we are thinking about them, then probably what is the reason that or what are the challenges they face in the society, so as to have them also be there where in the constitution where there should be no discrimination based on religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth by omitting disability. Fine, okay. So let's do what are the challenges there with respect to disability. Now when it comes to children's, now they are the one, that means the disabled children are the one who face ugly form of discrimination. They face an ugly form of discrimination. Why? Because they are the one who face social marginalization. They are denied basic rights. They are denied education. They are denied employment. Sometime or other they are the one who are suffering from chronic diseases. More often now or then their socio-economic condition is also worsened. So worsen the social economic or socio-economic conditions, etc. Fine. In some cases, with respect to children, with respect to elderly, what they face is social boycott. And this social boycott is with respect to what? That means when there is what you can say, there are a lot of gathering that are happening, so they face exclusion. They face exclusion. So exclusion with respect to employment, exclusion with respect to social gathering. Why? Because they are considered to be the unwanted elements. Fine. In certain incidences, there have been also denied property rights. So denial of property rights. That is incapacity to manage property. Fine. That means disabled children, or you can say as they grow, they have been facing social boycott. Why? Because they are treated as unwanted elements. They have been denied property rights because it is felt that they are at incapacity to manage properties. Fine. Other than that, they have also decreased marital life prospects. And if we talk about disability with respect to gender, we also find that disability in women section is very grave. Why? Because they are denied education, much high dropouts, they have travel risk, there is less of investment towards them. Okay, now we started the article saying that when the manifestos of the political parties come, they might talk about disability, but not that kind of work is not shown at ground level. Or you can say even the constitution also says that discrimination based on caste, sex, religion, place of birth is mentioned, but nowhere disability is mentioned. So one reason for this could be that we are not having that kind of sufficient data and stats. So there is unavailability of data and statistics. And why so? Because of difficulty to define disability. And also there is a kind of stigma which is related to disability in many places and societies. Stigma with respect to disabilities in many places and societies. So unavailability of data, stats, which is making difficult to define disability. Fine. Okay. Now let's move on to the next article. The next article talks about Supreme Court to finalize legal issues in parking projects near Mulla Periyar on July 10th. So, what is all about? So, first, what we need to see is that what the entire context is all about. Just a minute. Okay. So, the Supreme Court on Monday, that is, fixed a judgment. And what is that judgment? Finalizing the legal issues to be heard and decided by in an original suit by Tamil Nadu against Kerala. And what is the suit all about? So, construction of mega parking project near Mulla Periyar Dam. So, what is the whole issue all about? So, the Supreme Court earlier directed the Survey of India forward to examine whether envisaged by Kerala near Mullaperiyar Dam area enters the property covered by the lease arrangement. So is you need to know about all about just a minute. Okay. Now, why or you need to know what is Mulla Periyar Dam all about. So the river and the dam are so called. That means the river is Periyar Lake or Periyar, and the dam Periyar River. And Periyar is there. So that is why it is called Mulla Periyar Dam. Now this dam is close 1200 feet long, and this construction began in 1887 and was completed in 1895. Now, what you see is that the first dam, which was built by British Corps of Royal Engineers, was washed away by floods. So, what happened was the purpose of the dam was to divert the water of west flowing rivers, that is your Periyar, eastward to arid rain shadow region. Fine. Okay. Now the point is that this dam was built to meet the water requirement of temple town, that is Madurai in Tamil Nadu. Fine. So what you need to this is something you need to know about Mulla Periyar Dam. That means why this dam is known as Mulla Periyar, because it is under the confluence of two rivers, that is your Mullar and Periyar. Then you should know that what is the construction of this Mulla Periyar Dam. Then you should know why this dam was built. This dam was built to divert the water of West Periyar River flowing eastward to arid rain shadow zone. Then you should also know that. The main purpose of this dam was to serve the town of Tamil Nadu, that is your Madurai town. Fine. The agreement also gave the right to neighboring state to use water from the dam for irrigation purpose. Fine. Okay. So this much for today. Thank you so much.